Support for Jalen and Jacoby comes from Blue Apron. Blue Apron delivers farm-fresh, perfectly portioned ingredients and step-by-step recipes so you can make incredible meals at home. Rediscover how fun cooking can be while reducing food waste and supporting sustainable farms and fisheries. Visit blueapron.com/Jalen to get your first 3 meals, a $30 value, free with free shipping.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Give me your boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, dog?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the go check-in.
And we are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
We give the people what they want.
Let's do it. The Eastern Conference playoff matchups are finally set. The Miami Heat are out. The Pacers and the Bulls are in. The Bulls will be facing the number 1 seed, Boston Celtics. What should the Celtics be worried about with this matchup?
Physical play. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I look at this series. You're going to see a lot of jawing. You're going to see a lot of players being nose to nose. You're going to see a few flagrant fouls. You're going to see a lot of intensity, physicality, and anger in this series by both sides. Rajon Rondo, didn't he play for the Boston Celtics?
He did for quite some time.
Okay. Jimmy Butler, wasn't he rumored to be getting traded to the Boston Celtics?
About every month until the trade deadline.
Didn't Dwayne Wade, when he was a member of the Miami Heat, have to play against the Boston Celtics in the playoffs?
A lot.
That's a veteran group. Brad Stevens, for some strange reason, gets overlooked when we talk about Coach of the Year. Who would have thought they would have been the number 1 seed?
No one thought that.
Besides
the
Bill
Pop
Simmons?
Yeah, there's one person
That's the only
that
person
thought
in the
they would
world.
be the number
The
1
team
seed.
didn't even think it, and he thought it.
Their parents didn't even think that.
Right? And so, again, Al Horford's going to be a key. Mm-hmm. The Boston Celtics, a blue-collar team, they don't get enough credit for their versatility, their ability to pass, set screens. I know that's not a glamour thing,
Nope.
But they get Isaiah open. Dribble handoffs, giving goals. They create the action to where now he can throw it back to a shooter. They have some of the toughest defenders in the whole game. I know you saw Booker score 70 on them, but they still have Avery Bradley, fights through screens. He's a bulldog.
Yep, same with Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart as well.
Great flopper.
Crowder on the wing. And they have a level of toughness that people overlook. So this is going to be one of those series that every time you look up, there's going to be somebody on the free throw line shooting flagrant foul technicals.
I'm sure you have the Celtics winning. How many games do you see this series going?
Celtics in 6. When you look up front, neither team is going to give you offense other than Al Horford. So he has to be not only a guy that had a career high in assists this year, but they're going to need him to actually dominate his matchup with putting up big numbers like 18 and 11. If he's able to do that, they can close it out in 5. Other than that, I think it may take place in 6, depending on what the Bulls are able to do up front with players like Mirotic and Bobby Portis. Can they give them quality minutes and get more than one game?
Not gonna be able to do it.
Other than that, worst case scenario, if you're a Celtics fan, Boston in 6.
Cavs and the Pacers. LeBron always going up against Paul George in the playoffs. They have now met in every stage of the Eastern Conference playoffs. What is the key to the Cavs sort of turning the corner from the miserable end to the regular season and getting some playoff momentum together?
Playoff LeBron James. He about to turn it up. We talked all season about him being the best player in the game. This is why I appreciate there being a regular season MVP. But then there should be a postseason MVP. LeBron James now becomes a part of that conversation. And you know what's going to be a part of that conversation? Steph Curry. James Harden, Russell Westbrook ran away with the regular season. This is why you reward the 82 games. But in the postseason, those are 2 players I think people are overlooking the fact that I think they're going to be really dominant. That's what's going to be the difference for the Cavs. His ability to now take over. You remember what he did against Boston on the second night of a back-to-back? And we were wondering, the Celtics may get the number 1 seed. Is this going to be the game that they show up, they make it to the conference finals, and the Game 7 was on their home floor?
How'd that game turn out
they
for the
could
Celtics?
possibly upset the apple cart? They were down 25 so fast.
Will we get one skirmish, one little hold me back moment between Lance and LeBron?
You won't get a hold me back moment. You'll get a LeBron looking at him frowning and walking away like, whatever, man, I ain't dealing with you. But here's the other thing you're going to get. Watching two of the top players in the game go at it. Paul George and LeBron James, I pay to watch that, period. The problem is the Cavs are the defending champions. Teague is going to have his moments at the point. He's been an all-star. He's quick.
Can't guard Kyrie, though.
Correct. Kyrie Irving, if it wasn't for LeBron James winning it, he could have easily been Finals MVP last year, and Kevin Love gets overlooked. He's been playing really well to end the season. So the Cavs will advance, I say, in 6.
Moving on to the Toronto Raptors and the Milwaukee Bucks. Could this be an upset?
No. The Toronto Raptors will advance past this series, and I wouldn't be surprised if it took place in 5 games if they focused. And everybody knows I've been calling Milwaukee team futuristic for years, and when the Greek Freak came out of the stands with an afro, I was telling everybody then, y'all need to watch him. He's going to be a problem. And so when you're the guy that leads your team in so many statistical categories, points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, that's terrific. Just like when Russell Westbrook leads his team in rebounds. That's fantastic. The problem is he's doing a lot. Mm-hmm. And you know what happens in the playoffs? They start to suffocate the guy that does a lot.
Yeah.
And in this series, the Raptors have physical defenders that can now get in his way and make life tough for him. Carroll, Ibaka, really tough defenders. P.J. Tucker is going to be playing quality minutes. And they have an all-star backcourt in DeRozan as well as Kyle Lowry.
It seems like last year's playoffs were a million years ago, but it wasn't such a smooth ride for the Raptors if you remember back. I think DeRozan and Lowry weren't performing the way they can. Lowry ended up running into the locker room in the middle of a game. They were winning games, but in a weird way. Do you see that continuing into this season's playoffs as well?
It's going to be weird against Milwaukee because they're tough. Middleton can make threes. Greg Monroe can't make a jump shot beyond 15 feet, but he can score on that post. It's unorthodox. He can't jump. But you look down at the stat sheet, he can have a double-double. This is where they miss Jabari Parker because now they have to play a lot more people minutes that may or may not be able to get you 15 points in a quarter. I really like Brogdon, what he's done as a rookie. I just think that the Raptors have a better grasp of what it's going to take, especially with home court advantage, to get out to a 2-0 series lead, and at that point, the Bucks going to be playing catch-up.
Finally, the 4-5 matchup, the Wizards and the Hawks. Who do you see coming out of this one?
I want to say in 5, but Wizards in 6. I like the way the Hawks ended the year. The emergence of Tim Hardaway Jr. has been big for that team. He deserves to be in the most improved conversation. Schroeder, taking over fatigue this year, has had his ups and downs, but
A lot of downs.
has shown that his speed can be a problem for the defense. Dwight Howard has had as many double-doubles as he did when he was playing in his prime years. I think he had 53. But Paul Millsap is the guy that makes them go. And if he's able to get you the points, the rebounds, the versatility, and be dominant at his position against Morris on the other side, I'll give the Hawks a chance to get 2 games. They're really well coached. But I just think the starting 5 of the Washington Wizards probably is second in the Eastern Conference to the Cavs on paper. Now that the playoffs are here, John Wall, one of the most unique guards in the game, gets you the points, gets you the assists, gets you the steals, will dunk on you, has toughness, will block a big guy's shot. And Bradley Beal, what has unlocked this game? We all knew he can shoot. He used to can dribble. Now he can handle. And he can create his own shot. I affectionately call that backcourt hustle and flow. They get it done in 6.
At the end of Game 6, the Wizards win, and the Hawks are taking off their uniforms. Is it going to be the last time that Paul Millsap wears a Hawks jersey?
I don't think this will be the last game for Paul Millsap. I think they find a way to keep. I think they find a way to keep.
Now that The regular season is in the books. Before we turn our attention fully to the playoffs, let's take a second and just look back at some of the things that happened this year. Obviously, James Harden and Russell Westbrook neck and neck in the MVP race, setting historical seasons, each of them. But there's also this. Season leaders in points per game. Russell Westbrook scored 31.6 points a game. That is 2.5 points higher than James Harden, who was second. Was that surprising to you?
It does not surprise me that they're 1 and 2 in the scoring race. James Harden, on a couple of occasions, has led the league in total points. Mm-hmm. Russell Westbrook, based on averages, has been a scoring champion. What's unique about both of their situations, when you look at each of their rosters, neither one of those guys play with someone that's been an all-star, whether in the past or currently. Which means they take on a duality of not only being a great player, being a leader, but also carrying the load literally. And so with that, I am not surprised that they're 1 and 2 in the scoring race, but I am surprised at 5'9" that Isaiah Thomas was 3.
That is impressive. Yep. He's 5'9", and he's scoring the third most points in the NBA. There's a couple interesting ones I wanted to point out here. This isn't so surprising, except for the third one. Touches per game. I think that's an interesting stat. So when I just say touches per game, what names pop out to you as people that would be high in this category?
Usually those are the people who are the primary ball handlers.
Point guards.
And or amongst the league leaders in assists.
Yep. So you have Westbrook, Harden, and LeBron James is there. LeBron James, not really the point guard, but kind of the point guard. What's interesting about Westbrook, it's 99.5 touches a game. James Harden, 99.2 touches a game. There are approximately that many possessions in a game. So basically, Russell Westbrook and James Harden, if they are on the floor, are touching the ball in every single possession. It's almost a mistake if they don't.
And when LeBron isn't touching it, he's able to give it to Kyrie and Kevin Love, as I mentioned, other all-stars that he plays with.
It's a good point. Field goal percentage is always one I look at. It's always all centers, but we have DeAndre Jordan with 71.4% from the field. Did you ever think you would see someone shoot such a high percentage from the field?
Yes, because he's not shooting from the field. He's getting layups and dunks. And so you would have hoped... So it's tricky for a big man. You have to own your domain. So in the summertime, he's going to be working on his post game. He's going to be working on his post moves. Left hook, right hook, sweeping hook, turnaround jumper. It's going to look good in workouts.
Maybe he'll go to Houston and work out with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Correct. And or maybe he'll go sign with Dallas. We're going to make you the focal point of the offense. Then you go to bed a couple of nights like, what am I going to do on the left block when they give me the ball? Where's CP3? Where's Blake? So I do applaud him for staying in his lane. I'm going to run, jump, dunk, block shots, give effort, and catch lobs. And so that's how you shoot 71% from the floor. No surprises that he, Gobert, Capella, Dwight Howard, and Gortat are all in the top 5.
Did Dwight Howard get overlooked as having a pretty good year?
No.
He had a ton of double-doubles. He averaged 12.7 rebounds a game. He shot 63% from the floor.
He's going to be one of those under-the-radar players that isn't acknowledged as one of the top players in the game, but he's going to play long enough where his points and rebounds are going to garner him to be in the Hall of Fame.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame for sure. He will for sure be in the Hall of Fame. What? We both bring this up to Hayes Reggie, who's in the control room right now, who hates when we say that Dwight Howard's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But he is definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame. But Dwight Howard, I feel like there's a stigma around him. The media just doesn't really like him. Like, no one celebrates the greatness of Dwight Howard because Kobe called him soft once or something. Like, why do people not like Dwight Howard?
It's not about like at some point in professional sports. It's about, are you able to win based on the opportunities that you were given? And when he was in Orlando initially, they were a finals team, fell out of favor, behaved really immaturely with head coach Stan Van Gundy to the point where you look back and neither one of them are there any longer. And I just think back at the press conference when Dwight Howard was taking shots at Stan And then Stan was actually talking to the media, and he came over there live during the interview being phony with Stan. Thus gave birth to the infamous Pepsi swig. So those type of visuals that get you to Los Angeles, and you don't get along with Kobe Bryant, and then the team realizes that they're not going to be able to sign you. They should have traded him. As I mentioned, they didn't do it. Now you have to overextend your like for him as a player. You're putting up billboards. The Lakers putting up billboards to recruit somebody?
To keep somebody. Not just recruit them, to keep them.
Right? And so then you go to Houston. You can't make it work with James Harden when you guys were supposed to be a big two. And he flourishes and plays better without you, and so does the team. So when that normally happens, he at least did one thing smart that I was calling for him to always do. Go home, big fella.
They love you in Atlanta. They're going to love you in Atlanta.
Go home, big fella.
Go home.
So based on your premise, his season has been overlooked, but he could change that if he's dominant in the playoffs.
He sure can. Win the series against the Wizards. Make some noise against the Celtics.
He and Gortat played together in Orlando.
Oh, that's right. They did. Most three-point field goals made in the game. This is a really interesting list because it sounds a little bit like this.
Dylan, and Dylan.
The most three-pointers in a single game this season, Wardell, Stephen Curry, 13. Who is second on that list, Jalen Rose? Wardell, Stephen Curry with 11. Who's third on that list, most three-pointers made in a game? Wardell, Stephen Curry at number 9. He has the number 1, number 2, and number 3 games this season with the most three-pointers made. Yet, everyone's talking about it's a down year for Steph. It's a down year for Steph. Oh, by the way, he also, made 324 threes this year. Down year for Steph, though.
Second, his teammate Splash Brother, Klay Thompson, 268. James Harden, third. His teammate, Eric Gordon, fourth. So, dual teammates dominating the top 4 spots. And Isaiah Thomas of the Celtics coming in 5th.
Do you see this as an indication that the game has changed? That the Warriors and the Rockets are out in front of a three-point revolution that will then catch on, be contagious, and spread throughout the league? Or is this just a fad like the Wildcat offense, and it'll be hot for a while and then go away?
As long as wing players and or big guys are able to slash, attack the paint, finish at the hoop, finish through defenders, and jump higher than the hoop, they're going to always be the dominant position. That's just how it works. It's a big man's game. Now, that doesn't mean little guys can't lead their team to championships. Isaiah Thomas did it. Stephen Curry did it. But they're the exception, not the rule. So what has become the equalizing factor? The three-point shot. And look no further than who plays power forward for your team. That's the guy that dictates the style of play. If he's Zach Randolph, you're ground and pound. If he's Ryan Anderson, you're pacing space. That position usually defines it. So I don't necessarily say they're in front of the curve by shooting a ton of threes. That's where the entire league has gone. Let's see, in particular for Houston, if they can maintain it come the playoffs. That's has yet to be seen.
Blue Moon is brewed with Valencia orange peel and a touch of coriander. It's a creative twist on a Belgian-style wheat ale for a taste that shines brighter. Taste responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Jalen Rose, you have been to Katana in Hollywood. Fancy sushi place. Food not that good. Ambiance great. It's kind of sceney. You know, it's like it's not the hot spot of the moment, but it's always packed, especially at night. And, you know, you're going to enjoy an indoor-outdoor setting and some sushi. Anthony Davis wanted to take advantage of this atmosphere. He went there with some teammates. They would not let him in the establishment. There was a long conversation. They would not let him in. He offered to rent out the private room for him and some teammates and friends to eat. And they refused him from doing so because he was wearing a hoodie. What? I can see both sides of this. The establishment has every right to allow people in or out at their discretion. But he's got a lot of money. Where are you going with this?
I used to frequent Katana because my office was a half a mile from there.
I have so many questions.
There's a picture on my Twitter handle, actually, that I took with Andre Young, a.k.a. Dr. Dre, on that patio that Anthony Davis got stopped at. And I have a couple of comments as it relates to dealing with a private establishment. They do have the right, in theory, to not allow you in based on your appearance. You could go to a gas station. Have you ever paid attention to the sign that says no shirt, no shoes, no service? That's just a way to quantify if for whatever reason we feel like we don't want you patronizing our establishment.
Every restaurant, I believe it's by law, has a sign that says, like, we have the right to refuse service.
So now it becomes, should they waive the rule? Because clearly that's what it is, unless you've seen 5 or 10 other people in there with hoodies and they were stopping you, which is something way different, especially for a 7-foot all NBA basketball player that you mentioned has also a black card that you clearly want not only his money, but the other 5 or 10 teammates he has with him.
I mean, I don't understand the decision-making process when he offers to rent the private room. At that point, it's like, you can have whatever you want. I don't care. You can be naked in there. Like, whatever it is.
But also, I learned to respect that everyone has a boss. So when I go to the health club, I don't get mad sometimes when they stop me and ask me to pull out my card and show them my ID. Because for all I know, their boss may be watching.
Of course.
The cameras may be watching.
Yeah.
And so I have to respect the fact that they're doing their job. So it's a tricky dynamic because if you're the manager or if you're the host or the maitre d' or whoever that's at the front and you clearly see that this is probably Anthony Davis, now how do I respond? I don't think the conversation got I don't think the conversation led to any anger on either side.
No, he ended up just leaving.
So him ending up just leaving is your right as a customer to say, if I'm not welcome here for whatever reason, guess what? You won't get my thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
So that's the trade.
Yes. Also, Sugarfish, much better sushi. According to Us Weekly, Aaron Rodgers has gone Hollywood. Now, you would think that when he breaks up with his actress, sort of like Hollywood-based girlfriend, that this would go the other way. And again, this is according to Us Weekly. A pal close to the quarterback told Us Weekly, quote, he used to work out with his teammates during the offseason, but this offseason he's chosen to work out primarily with Nick Jonas in West Hollywood. What? And then went on to explain that he hired a personal stylist who also dresses Ryan Gosling. He gets weekly facials in Beverly Hills and is hanging out with TV actors Eddie Mills and Ryan Rotman. I don't know who those TV actors are. I'm sure they're a great hang. Something or nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Hanging with notable individuals and or celebrities doesn't mean that you're going Hollywood. Those are called his peers.
And I think, you know what, getting a weekly facial in Beverly Hills sounds lovely. I don't have time for that kind of thing. I've never had a professional facial in my life. I don't have time for that kind of thing, but it sounds lovely. Like, why are we hazing Aaron Rodgers for this? Taking care of his skin.
And also, when you say a pal, and then that person is talking about what he does with his teammates, stay in your lane.
Exactly. That's not a friend of Aaron Rodgers. That is someone who is trying to air out Aaron Rodgers to a semi-respectable outlet. Also, Nick Jonas, yoked. We have statue news, Jalen Rose. You're familiar with the iconic Charging Bull statue in the Wall Street financial district of New York City. You're familiar, correct?
Yes, indeed.
They have also, sort of like on the same area, they have added what is called...
I'm looking up something that's really funny that's going to add to what you're saying, so I'm not being rude at all.
Okay. They've added a statue called Fearless Girl, who is sort of facing down the bull.
Okay.
The artist who created the Charging Bull is now upset. I can see both sides of this one, too. He is claiming, you hired me to make a piece of art. I made that piece of art. Mm-hmm. You put it up, and now here you are changing it later. But the other side of the argument is, hey, man, if it's not in the contract, we can do whatever we want.
Correct, and it's an open space. It's a public space, right?
Yeah. You don't own this artist. We paid you for the services that you rendered, and we're good. What are you looking up on your phone?
I want to. What's the original architect's name?
His name is Arturo Di Modica.
I wanted to teach Arturo something.
Okay.
And I want to say this respectfully. There is nothing more powerful walking the face of this earth than women. Mm-hmm. Has he ever heard of Eve?
The rapper?
Not that one. Oh. The one in the garden. From that day, okay, countries have gone to war. I probably shouldn't go there right now.
Probably not.
Take that
Probably
back.
not.
Y'all could just do whatever. Just go on past that.
Okay. Great job.
Because we're literally at war right now, so I know y'all don't want to go there.
Here's the thing. They're not taking down the Fearless Girl. No. So Arturo just needs to deal with it because that statue's going to be there. Arturo
needs to know there is nothing more powerful and more fearless walking the face of the earth than women.
That's a great point. So remember when Tom Brady had that meal delivery thing? Where you can eat like Tom Brady and he'll send you healthy foods and you put them together.
I know
or
what
whatever.
That is. Blue Apron.
Yeah, I've used these things all the time and they're excellent. Sometimes better than others. However, he went on Instagram and showed himself preparing one of these meals. It was taco night. Tom Brady made tacos.
Top to Taco Bell for some Mexican Nathan.
Tom Brady made some tacos with no meat, no beans, and no salsa. What? Are they still tacos? They were beluga lentil tacos. Are they still tacos if they don't have meat or beans or salsa?
They're tacos if they have the shell.
Really? So you can pretty much put anything in a tortilla and it's still a taco?
Yes.
What about grasshoppers at Safeco Field?
Not going to be able to do it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to get you some of those to taste.
I think Colin Cowherd already did that.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I can't be second to Colin Cowherd.
What up, Don't Hurt?
LeBron posted himself listening to unreleased tracks of Kendrick Lamar's new album.
Bars!
Is he showing off by doing so?
He should.
Is he showing off by doing so?
Let me tell you something.
There's a little part of it that's just like, come on, Bron. Like, don't just show us that you've got stuff that we don't have. We know you've got stuff we don't have.
There were different times in my life where a certain artist gave me exclusives, and I felt like I felt the exact same way. When I'm in Vegas and I see Beanie Siegel and he playing the whole album before it come out, and I got it like a couple of weeks, I'm feeling good about that. So absolutely.
I'm salty about it.
I had my godfather John gave me an unreleased Tupac white tape before all of the material came out. It had Dear Mama on there, had So Many Tears on there.
Did you just drive around playing it and just looking at strangers?
Classics. Like, this is that Pac you ain't heard yet.
Finally, LeBron James opening up a school for at-risk youth in Akron, Ohio, his hometown. As someone who has a school themselves in their hometown, what advice do you have for Mr. James?
I'm happy that he's doing it. It's really noble. And he always has been an athlete that was politically and socially conscious. And the ultimate way to try to give back and influence your community is through education. And so for him to take on an endeavor like that and own it and put his name on it, it's an awesome thing. Hopefully more people follow suit.
I just hope he puts the time and effort into it that you put into your school.
He don't have the time and effort I put into it. I love you, LeBron, but get that checkbook out. Make sure you paying top dollar for your school leader, for your administrators, for your staff, for your facilities. You know, there are going to be certain things that you got to make sure you take care of that you're not thinking about right now, like making sure that, you know, the kids like the food. Make sure there's a safe learning environment. Make sure that you continue to foster an atmosphere that's about success and enduring. So there is a lot of life lessons that's going to go into it that just with his normal basketball schedule, being a current NBA player, he can't physically be there. But I'm pretty sure when he does have the time and he is committed to do it, it's such an awesome thing. There's nothing negative to say except I wish more people did it.
Well put. Jalen Rose. Phil Jackson and the Knicks.
Keep it moving.
Built into the contract that they could opt out mutually at the end of this season.
What?
Phil Jackson will be the president of basketball operations for the New York Knicks for another 2 seasons. Some of the worst news as a die-easy Knicks fan that I could possibly hear. It was expected, but it's still depressing. What is Phil Jackson going to do in the offseason?
What the team did was handcuff he and Carmelo Anthony's deals to where now they end at the same time. So if you guys can't play in the sandbox and figure it out, you both will be here. You have a no-trade clause. You have 2 more years. I just signed you to 2 more years, and the only way you don't get that money is if you quit. This just tells me that Carmelo Anthony, unless he can find his way to the Clippers or to the Cavs, will be on the Knicks next year.
He will not be on the Knicks next
When
year.
people say it's going to be contentious, I wonder what it's going to be like when he and Phil Jackson have their sit-down meeting to end the season.
I like this.
There's nothing to talk about.
That's the kind of thing that I'm interested in.
There's nothing to talk about.
How does that meeting go?
There is nothing to talk about. All they can do is huff and puff and not blow either person's house down.
How do you think that meeting goes? Don't you think it will be contentious?
Yes, but there's nothing going to take place. There's no sense of urgency that's going to now happen where Phil say, oh, I'm going to trade him.
Is there a part of it where just behind two, just like you and I in this room right now, just the two of us in there, it's Phil and it's Carmelo, and they both kind of snickered being like, James is paying us so much money to lose basketball games. I mean, is there a little piece of that?
I ain't trying to leave New York,
Yeah,
you.
it's like, how many millions of dollars you get next year? Like, oh, for real? You get millions of dollars too? Oh, all right, great.
Like, wow.
What are you doing this summer? You going to the Hamptons?
We get
How's it
$40
gonna
million
work?
together.
Yeah, you want to go on vacation? Is there a part of it where the two of them kind of know that they're kind of getting away? They're getting over.
I think they both know that in order to collect their checks, they need each other.
Okay.
And this was the brilliance, and I used the term years ago. You could pull it up the day it happened. The Knicks fans were planning a protest. 2 weeks later, the Knicks hired Phil Jackson.
Manage the message.
48 hours before said protest was to take place.
This is depressing.
Then they re-signed Melo, give him a no-trade clause. He's good. Draft Porzingis. We're good. We have KP. He's a unicorn. He's going to lead us there. That's what I heard from Knicks fans. I only hear from Knicks fans when New York's in first place, just like Yankee fans. I only hear from them when the Yankees are good. But the problem with the Knicks ain't been good in a long time.
They're not going to be good anytime soon either.
And because of this, Phil and Melo need each other in order to cash those checks.
Ron Baker is not going to mature into an all-star point guard next year. It's just not going to happen.
Not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to do it. Hernan Gomez, though, I do like Hernan Gomez.
I like him too.
When you watch Knicks games, you're like, ooh, this guy's pretty good. Hernan Gomez is good. If you're not watching a lot of Knicks games, I understand, first of all, but he is good.
He could be a rotation player.
Yes. Dirk Nowitzki says he's coming back next season, which has me thinking about some other legends that are currently on rosters. They're going to get a chance to get a glimpse of in the playoffs. That might not be back next year. So I'm going to name a name. You tell me whether or not this is going to be their final season in the National Basketball Association. Vincent Lamar Carter.
No. He's one of the most athletic players to ever play the sport. And when he loses some of it, he can still do a 360 at almost 40. Make a few threes. He was always underrated for his skill to go along with his explosion. We'll be back a couple of more seasons.
Couple more seasons for Vince Carter. Oh, I love it. Paul Pierce.
Final year.
That's it.
He's got some lost tapes these last couple of years. Happens to the best of them.
That's it.
Of course, it's supposed to happen to bums like me.
You know, after they lose to the Warriors in the second round of the playoffs, there's going to be all these exit interviews. Like, who are we bringing back? Is the core four going to stay? And Paul Pierce is going to be like, hey, guys, no one's talking about me coming back.
And so for those that don't know, Paul is family to me. And the funniest thing I saw him do happened on Twitter. He already said goodbye.
When was that?
Like, thanks for everybody that supported me. I appreciate everything. In other words, y'all might not see me in the playoffs. And I don't anticipate us going too far. So I'm going to say bye right now. So when the season ends, I don't have to.
The Clippers have one of the most interesting sort of like playoff expectation fields. I could see them being swept by the Jazz. I could see them in the NBA Finals. Like it could break so many different ways for them.
I expect a legitimate playoff run from the Clippers this postseason that people aren't talking about?
The tricky part is I'm a die easy Clipper fan. I go to Clipper games from time to time. I support the Los Angeles Clippers. The Warriors in the second round is tough. Like, something has to happen. Catastrophic for them to get out of that series. But we'll see. They're playing basketball right now, winning a bunch of games in a row, peaking at the right time. They're going to beat the Jazz in 5. Remember I said that. Have we seen the last of Manu Ginobili in an NBA basketball uniform? I think we have, Jalen.
I think Manu will play one more year.
Really?
Based on what I saw this season.
Really?
I do. He's
Tony
actually
Parker
been a
coming back?
Tony Parker, of course, he's coming back. Yes.
So Ginobili and Parker will be back on the Spurs next season.
Parker definitely should be in a different role.
What, like an assistant coach role?
Very nice.
Where's this Tim Duncan assistant coaching thing that was supposed to happen? Do you remember that? They signed Tim Duncan. He went to a couple practices. I haven't seen any clips of Tim working out with Paul Gasol or teaching LaMarcus Aldridge the defensive rotations. I haven't seen any of that. Keep getting those checks, Tim Duncan.
But he's with the Spurs, so just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Is there anyone that I'm not thinking of?
Jason Terry.
Oh! He's not coming back.
He's on the Bucks staff next year, in my opinion, or the Mavs, one of those teams. And don't sleep on him possibly being on the Lakers staff with Luke Walton.
It's interesting. Orlando Magic have fired the general manager, Rob Hennigan. Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that an agent on Twitter posted the whiteboard of all of their offseason plans?
No, I think it's due to the fact when he was hired as the youngest GM in the league, there was an expectation that he was going to be able to turn around the franchise. Then you look at their books, you're like, they paid Bismack Biyombo how much?
Yeah.
They paying Jeff Green how much this season?
So you guys traded for Serge Ibaka and then traded Serge Ibaka. Okay.
And I'm also disappointed in the fact that Scott Perry, who's shown to be one of the best front office executives in the league, has a tremendous amount of experience, hasn't gotten an opportunity. When they let Hennigan go, they didn't allow him to be the interim. And I'm disappointed by that. And so it looks like they're cleaning house, literally. These rumors, and not to speak for anyone, are absurd about them making Grant Hill the face of their basketball.
Part ownership of the house.
Last time I checked, he's a part owner of another team.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. It just seems like whenever there's an empty front, like a lot of times you pick a player from that franchise, and whoever comes to mind first is like, oh, they're going to give him a role.
Actually, what it is when you get jammed up, don't mention my name.
Yeah.
I'm with the Hawks. We're going to the playoffs. Don't pull me into you guys' headline news about you firing your GM.
Exactly. Because it'll make some people, the local people in Orlando, happy that this is going to happen. But you know what's going to happen? I'm going to continue to be not just the host of Inside the NBA, but also part owner of the Hawks.
Big shout, G Hill. Hook me up with some tickets for the kids during the year for a Hawks game.
Yep.
Blue Moon is brewed with Valencia orange peel and a touch of coriander. It's a creative twist on a Belgian-style wheat ale for a taste that shines brighter. Taste responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's a lot of noise in the sports media world, a lot of headlines, a lot of going on. This segment is called Keep It Moving. I bring up something that happened in the world of sports that perhaps other shows are discussing. And if you want to discuss it, we hit the brakes. And if you don't, we keep it moving.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
You ready, Mr. Rose? On the inside of the Cubs championship ring, there is a profile of a billy goat.
Keep it moving.
We be
I like that
moving,
one.
you know we keep it moving.
Clearly the curse doesn't exist.
I like that one.
They just weren't able to finally win. They just weren't able to win the World Series. They got it done last season.
An hour of running may add 7 hours to your life.
What?
Hit the brakes.
Okay, good.
I saw you run a marathon, 26 miles.
Which means technically I'm going to live for approximately, let's say, 7 times 26, 140, 6 times 7, about 190 more years.
That's where I was going.
Here's the thing, a couple things. Whenever you put may in, an hour of running may add 7 years to your life. Okay, an hour of running may just end world hunger forever. An hour of running may give you cancer. You can't just add may in there.
Or an hour of running may not.
Exactly. It probably won't add 7 years to your life. Let's be honest. Oh, it's 7 hours to your life. I read that wrong. My bad. Apparently, I'm not going to live until I'm 400 years old. Kobe Bryant, Carl Lewis, and other stars pitch LA's Olympic bid in a video series.
Keep it moving for now.
Oh!
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
St. Louis is suing the NFL because of the way the Rams relocated to
I love
Los
you, St.
Angeles.
Louis, but we're not going to force football topics.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Jim Harbaugh says the United States of America is the most important recruiting territory. No state is more valuable than another.
Hit the brakes.
Okay, let's hit the brakes on this one. Why is your man lying?
Well, there are states more valuable. California, Texas,
and Texas. Those
Florida, Michigan, Ohio.
No, it's California, it's Texas, and it's Florida if we're talking collegiate football. Jalen, don't give me that face, Jalen. Jalen, just from the size of the states alone, Texas and California, and you know how many. You're
from the Northeast.
Yes, sir.
You guys aren't diehard collegiate football fans.
Oh, no, not even close. Not even easy collegiate football fans.
Correct.
What is the best collegiate football program in the Northeast? Probably Syracuse or Boston College?
Correct. Who's the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes?
I know this guy's name.
My point exactly.
No, Urban Meyer. Boom.
Somebody told you.
No one told me. I swear. I can see him.
The reason why I asked that question, if you're Urban Meyer and you're Jim Harbaugh, you must be able to recruit Michigan and Ohio. Mm-hmm. It's mandatory. They rank on that list based on who's having this conversation. And then you focus on California, Texas, and Florida. Not the other way around from that dynamic.
Just answer a question for me about your man's, Jim Harbaugh. Why do you say things like that are just untruth? Like, why do you say something into a microphone that is not the truth, not even close to it? Oh, there's no one state is more important than another state. That's just not true.
Well, you're sitting there with multiple players from multiple regions of the country. You don't want to alienate anybody.
If you really want a quarterback from Wyoming, you're not going to act like Wyoming is the most important state to recruit in. Let's keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Matt Lloyd has replaced Rob Hennigan as the interim general manager of the Orlando Magic.
Should have been Scott Perry. Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
SP, your gig is coming.
Shia LaBeouf is going to spend a month alone in Finland in a cabin for an art project. Let's hit the brakes on this one.
Yes. That sounds like a lot of isolation.
Yep, that's the point. Do you know who Shia LaBeouf is?
An actor.
Oh.
And an MC.
Oh, yes, you do. You famously went on Slay in the Morning and had some bars, as you like to call them. Shia LaBeouf, better or worse MC than Dame Lillard?
Worse.
Worse. Okay.
Whose show did he go on?
Sway.
You said Slay.
I said Sway.
Okay.
K Slay. He's probably been on K Slay's show before.
You're saying the wrong two people. You sound like me right now, and I love it.
I know.
Yes!
You put me on the spot. I couldn't think of Urban Meyer's name, even though I know it. I said something wrong, and then I acted like I didn't say it wrong. We have completely switched positions for this segment.
So, you know, on Sanford and Son, there were two cops that used to come to the door named Smitty and Hoppy. Mm-hmm. And when the white cop would say something to Fred, a lot of times he need the black cop to translate it for him. Mm-hmm. So let me do that for you now.
Okay, please do.
K Slay is the drama king.
I know. Street sweeper.
Sway is in the morning.
I'm very familiar with both of those human beings.
I know you are.
I love K Slay.
What up, though? To both of them. Family.
John Daly uses a beer can as a tee and then chugs it.
Keep it moving.
He's like the Rob Gronkowski
We
of
be
golf.
moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Gronk just if Gronk just behaves like a wrestler, just not in the ring.
He does. I saw that the WWE is interested in signing Rob Gronkowski.
Why wouldn't they be?
That's a good point. The 49ers are receiving calls about the number 2 pick and are open for business.
Keep it moving. Who gonna be the best 3 players in the draft again?
Joe Mixon reiterates that he is now a different person.
Keep it moving. You're really good at football. Somebody's gonna take you regardless of the video. Sad but true. But however, young people are allowed to make mistakes, rehabilitate themselves. His talent puts him in a position to earn a living playing football. He deserves the right to play.
Someone ate 255 peeps in 5 minutes and set a world record.
What did they eat?
Let's hit the brakes. Do you know what a peep is? A marshmallow peep?
The only peeps I know is my homies.
Around this time of year, there's a little yellow marshmallow candy that's got like sprinkles on it. I believe it's got a little eyeball. It looks like a bird. It's a peep. Have you ever had a peep in your life?
No, in my neighborhood, they call those lemon heads.
Okay. We'll get you some peeps before Easter. We'll get you some peeps tomorrow. I want to see you try a peep. They're delicious. It's one of those candies like a Cadbury egg where it's just like, I don't know why this is a seasonal candy because this is delicious all year round. Oh, we have a control room controversy. There are people that work on this show that do not believe in peeps.
One of those cultural things.
You think peeps are cultural?
Yep.
Peeps aren't cultural.
Yep.
All I gotta do is
Peeps are not cultural.
all I gotta do is say 2 names besides myself and ask their opinion. Reg, Kels, what you think?
Kelly, do you like peeps?
No.
What? It's. I think the staff of Jalen Jacoby is racially split on peeps. Oh, Tanner hates peeps too. Okay, it's not cultural. It's not cultural. It's not cultural. It's not cultural. Do you know what's really overrated though? You want to know what's really overrated? Candy corn.
Yep.
Nothing to do with corn.
Yep.
Tastes terrible.
Yep.
I can't stand that regional candy. Finally, Jay Cutler is still considering retirement.
Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
You don't want to talk about Jay Cutler's butt on the internet?
Of course not.
You said something earlier in the show that blew my mind, Jalen. We were talking about Anthony Davis not getting into a sushi restaurant named Katana right there in the Sunset Strip. And you said that you often went to that restaurant. Why?
My office was a half a mile away.
Why did you have an office? What did you do at this office? What did this office look like? Did other people work at this office? Did you have a logo on the door of this office? Like, tell me more about this office life that you have.
3-tier entertainment
Oh, that's right. 3-tier entertainment.
was the office. At the time, I had a stage play that was touring the country, 9 different locations, called The Greatest Love Story Ever Told. It was the story of Mary and Joseph. It was a part of the Chitlin circuit in the Tyler Perry vein. And it also produced the Fab Five documentary for ESPN Films.
What made you get into theater, Jalen?
Radio, TV, film was my major in college.
Okay. You don't have an office anymore?
I work wherever I am now.
No need for an office. You got a phone. Things have changed.
Things are more efficient now.
You don't have to mail me at the office.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't have a phone. I don't have to check my voicemails when I show up at my desk.
The office is where I am.
Exactly.
I'm not checking in anywhere. I don't need the space.
I wanted to get your take on this, Mr. Rose. Elevation Ministries. We don't talk about religion too much on this show, but you'll see why we're talking about this one. It's a Colorado-based religious organization, and they've announced the launch of the International Church of Cannabis, which will be a, quote, spiritual home to adults who seek to become the best version of themselves. A cannabis-themed church is coming to Colorado. What? Soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
Really?
It's legal.
Really?
All this basically sounds like it's organized Zen mixed with...
This reminds me a little bit...
I got it. It's organized Zen mixed with hippies.
That's what it is. But it just reminds me a little bit about that guy we were talking about yesterday that ran a half marathon and drank a beer every mile. It's like, don't mix the beer drinking with the marathon running. You also don't need to mix the cannabis with the church. You know? Just separate those two activities.
You in my opinion, aren't mixing the two because I don't see that as being quote-unquote religious just because they're in a place that possibly could be deemed a church. To me, that's separate and not equal.
You know, Chief Wahoo has been bothering me forever. Chief Wahoo is the blatantly racist caricature of a Native American that the Cleveland Indians franchise has been using as a logo or a mascot for quite some time. There is now a headline. Oh, the commissioner of baseball is in talks and they're making progress to phase out Chief Wahoo from the Indians organization. Here's my question. I don't understand what the case is to keep Chief Wahoo. Can you explain that for me?
No, we talked about this. We talked about it on this program. Whether it happens sooner or later, the Indians going to change their logo. Mm-hmm. The Braves going to change their logo. Mm-hmm. The Washington football team's going to change their logo.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Just own it and just lean into it.
It's all about win.
And apologize when you do it too. Like, it's silly to have this logo still out there in the world. And I believe that the people who want it to stay, and there are very vocal supporters of Chief Wahoo in Cleveland that dress up and go to the games. And their whole thing is, it's historical. It's been there forever. It's part of the tradition. It's part of the fabric of my fandom. It's like,
you know what that sounds like? Confederate flag.
It sounds like excuses.
Heard it all before.
It just sounds like excuses. It's just like, wait a second. Like, just because it has existed up to this point doesn't mean it needs to continue to exist. There were a lot of things that we have phased out of the society because it was the right thing to do.
Never meaning no harm.
Let's phase out Chief Wahoo. And just because you don't put him on the hat anymore doesn't do anything for me.
All you ever saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born.
Do you know what show that is the theme song for?
Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, good for you. I'm shocked that you watch Dukes of Hazzard. There are no black people in Dukes of Hazzard. No.
Correct. See, you underestimate my movie going versus my television watching.
You're okay.
Some of my favorite shows didn't contain blacks.
Really?
Cheers.
Little known fact about Jalen Rose, which I should have known you watched Dukes of Hazzard. This is one of the weirdest things I've learned about you, and I've learned a lot of weird stuff about you. Okay? Yesterday, I just learned you have a tattoo that says boss on your chest. I also learned that you don't know which chest it's on. Jalen Rose once owned a replica, expensive, well-done replica of the General Lee vehicle from Dukes of Hazzard.
It wasn't a replica. It was one of the 4 actually used on the show.
What?
And
you know you're
Bo
rich when you own
actually signed the trunk.
Wait, what? Bo popped the trunk?
Yes, indeed.
What was Bo's brother's name?
Luke.
Oh, well done.
Cletus.
Boss Hogg?
Yes, indeed.
Roscoe P. Coltrane?
No doubt about it.
And wait. Who's the star of the show, though? Daisy.
Daisy Duke.
Daisy
of course.
Duke, yeah.
How about this? So here's another one of my favorite shows that not only didn't contain black people, it was one of the most racially charged television shows ever. I love Archie Bunker.
Really?
All in the Family.
Really?
I die laughing as soon as George come to the door.
Really?
Yes. And I'm talking about the one from
coming.
the Jeffersons. Yes, that was classic. Yep. It was so well written, so really well done. Like, you can be mean, as the great American philosopher David Jacoby once said, as long as you're funny. Mm-hmm. And I used to be dying laughing. Truly did.
Where did you buy the General Lee? I'm curious about this. How does that come across your conscience? Like, you know what I want? I want to own the General Lee.
Well, I'm from the Motor City, so I've been in the cars for a long time. Model Ts,
huge into cars.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the cars.
Huge
no
into
doubt.
cars. Can only name one type of car in the entire world.
One at racetracks growing up. Like, sure, I just was in the cars.
Okay.
So it was one of my goals, one of my dreams, to not only have a car from the Dukes of Hazzard, but to have one from Starsky and Hutch.
Oh.
The red and white car. That was another show I watched. I watched Happy Days.
Happy Days is a good show.
That didn't have any blacks on there.
No.
Okay. So you underestimate my diversity.
Where'd you get the car? Did you Google it and seek it out, or did the opportunity come to you to buy it?
No, I seeked it out via a car dealer.
Really? You went to a car dealership and you said, I want
Took a while
the
to get the car.
General Lee.
Yeah. And then I got the car, had it in my house, and like, this Confederate flag ain't staying in here like this. I want this vehicle, but it ain't about to be sitting in my garage with that flag on the top. So I painted over it quick, fast, in a hurry.
Really?
Yes, indeed.
You had to paint it. Did you paint it orange?
Yeah.
Huh. Always learning new things about you, Jalen.
And changed the side of the car to 05.
Oh, that was smart. NASA has new evidence that the most likely place to find life beyond Earth are Jupiter's moon, Europa, and Saturn's moon, Enceladus. Do you think there is life in this solar system not on Earth?
Life, no. Because if it was, people would be trying to get there. People would be trying to live there. People would definitely be buying real estate.
You're the best. Don't forget, if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. The producers listen to the voicemails, pick the best ones, and play them on the show like this.
Yo, shout out to Jalen Jacoby. This is Marlon from Brooklyn. Just a couple things. Ginny Buss, Cersei Lannister. And you do get a trophy with the green jacket. Point that out. You guys are doing a great job. I love the show.
Okay. You know what, Marlon? I appreciate it. I appreciate the call. I appreciate the intensity with which you listen to the program. And I also appreciate that you made a Game of Thrones reference that Jalen didn't understand.
Nope.
Cersei Lannister, any idea who Cersei is?
No.
No? Okay. When I said that you don't get a trophy, you get a green jacket, you know, sometimes when you say something, the second it comes out of your mouth, you're like, yeah, I'm probably wrong about that. So I appreciate you doing the research for us. I will never make the mistake again. Of course you get a trophy if you win the Masters, but you also get a stupid green jacket that you cannot wear on your wedding day. Thanks for the call, Marlon. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Yeah, Jalen Jacoby. It's Philip Powell from Houston, Texas. Big fan of the show. Big fan of Jalen's hairline. Nice work, Jalen. Nice work. Also, a big fan of your career. Quick question, Jacoby. I want you to ask Jalen if he's seen the movie Being John Malkovich and if he could break down that plot of that movie for me. All right, big fan, y'all. Keep it up.
Appreciate the shout, Philip.
Shout out.
I would ask Jalen if he has seen the movie Being John Malkovich, but I already know the answer.
Big shout to H-Town, however.
Love Houston.
There are a lot of establishments in Houston that I've been to.
I'm sure.
While other people were going to the movies.
You were.
Watching them.
Thanks for the call. Jalen has not seen Being John Malkovich. I guarantee it. It's an excellent film. Excellent film, Mr. Rose. But you know what? I don't think you'd like it. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Hey, Jacob and Jabroni. I have a question. Tyler over in California. Soft move or boss move? I wasn't really hungry. I didn't really want a burger. I just wanted to snack. If you ordered a burger, you get unlimited fries. So I ordered the meal, ate all the fries at the restaurant, took the burger home for the next day. Soft move or boss move? Thank you, guys. Keep giving the people what they want.
First off, is it a soft move or a boss move to get our names wrong on purpose?
That's a soft move.
Knowing that the producer is going to put you on.
That's what gets
Jacob
it,
and Jabroni.
This is just a way for the producers to haze us. They secretly hate us. What? So they just do things like that just to get at us. That's fine. I understand. Also, if you use soft move or boss move, it's going to up your chances of getting on the show, and you know that. Yeah. And then Tyler went on to explain that he wasn't hungry, he just wanted a snack, so he got unlimited fries. If you're not hungry, why do you need unlimited French fries?
And also, always a soft move to warm up a hamburger the next day.
Yeah, you can't do that. There are certain foods that are sometimes better when warmed up or the next day. Hamburger, not one of those foods. Hamburgers have to be hot. A cold hamburger is just not. A lot of the times people are like, "Oh, we're having a party and I ordered 100 In-N-Out burgers. It's going to be awesome." It's like, no, you got those burgers were cooked 2 hours ago. I'm coming to your house eating cold In-N-Out.
Like the Beastie Boys said, because this is all he wanted. White Castle fries only come in one size.
They only come in one size.
Don't think you're going to come back all week with that same burger and keep getting all you can eat.
That's not going to work. Thanks for the call, Tyler. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Hey, Jalen. Hey, Jacoby. This is Michael from T-Dot. I was wondering if it's a soft move or a boss move to take a girl on a date, a first date, on a helicopter ride tour around the city. What? Soft move or boss move? What do you think? Keep getting in them checks.
Jalen, where do I like to keep expectations?
Low.
Low as possible. You go first date in a helicopter? I mean, you're paying. It's at least $1,000 to go in a helicopter. Just to get him on the phone, you have to pay him $1,000.
Hit the brakes. I'm going to go in another direction. You can't do something that may end up fatal on the first date.
I think that bonds you together. I disagree.
No, not if you guys not here to recognize afterwards.
That's fair. But your chances of surviving the helicopter ride are very high.
Let me tell you something.
Very high.
No.
You know one stat that I always hate? I hate when people say, well, it's more dangerous to drive your car down the highway. You know, people always say that. Well, you're more likely to get hit by lightning than eaten by a shark. That doesn't mean I'm going to chum the waters and go swimming in the ocean, though.
You don't want to do something that's fatal. You don't want to do something that could potentially be fatal on the first date.
That's fair. Thanks for the call, Michael. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
What's up, fellas? This is Corey from Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm driving right now listening to the pod, and I'm listening to Jalen talking about how it's a soft move if you have a tattoo of an individual you've never met. As a person who has multiple tattoos of individuals I've never met, including James Naismith, Walter White, John Calipari, I am now on wax committing to getting a tattoo of Jalen Rhodes that says boss move on it. You heard it here first.
Corey.
We need to fly him out here.
Corey.
Yep.
And
Corey.
You know what day we need to fly him out here on? 420.
420. Corey.
Because I don't know what the rules are in Kentucky, but whatever you're doing, it's legal here. I promise you.
But let me tell you something. It would be kind of a cool tattoo. If you had like the cartoon Jalen, you know what I mean? Like the cartoon Jalen says boss move on it. That'd be kind of a cool tattoo. He's already got James Naismith. I love basketball more than most things in my life. I have no idea what James Naismith looks like. No idea what he looks like. None. I don't even know where you get a picture of him to tell the tattoo artist. People look at your tattoo of James Naismith, Corey. They're like, I guess that's his dad or like his grandfather.
People look at the trophy and think that's James Naismith.
It's not. The Larry O'Brien trophy?
Yes.
Larry O'Brien trophy, not the best trophy out there. Let's be honest.
It's not.
Not the best trophy out there. There's a lot of better trophies out there.
It doesn't have the best
whack.
aesthetics.
It doesn't, and also, it's like the size of the ball.
The
size of the ball and the net don't seem to be in proportion. Not a big fan of the trophy. Big fan of the NBA. Not a big fan of the trophy. Make it something worth chasing. Come on, NBA. Look at the Stanley Cup. That's a real
wonder
trophy.
why I ain't get one.
You didn't want one.
Exactly. I want to look at it all the time.
You want to look at it all the time. Yeah, you don't want to need that around the house.
Yeah, that's the only reason why.
Yeah, aesthetics. Thanks so much for the call, Corey. Real talk. Get in touch with our producers. Let's make something happen.
And we putting it on.
Let's listen to another point.
Jalen Jacoby, this is Joey from Canton, Ohio. I've left you many voicemails. Maybe this is the one that'll break through, but maybe not, because I'm going to mention another media outlet, The Ringer. They recently posted an article of the top 50 fast food items of all time. They rated Chick-fil-A waffle fries as the number one item, which is wrong. My question to you is, could you give us your maybe top 3 best fast food items of all time? Thanks so much.
Oh, you put me on the spot there. Top 3 best fast food items of all time. First of all, much like top 5 Dead or Alive MCs, or favorite movie, or most beautiful starlet. This is all subjective.
Yes.
This is just one person's opinion. Me, personally, I'm putting a Taco Bell soft taco in the top 3. You might feel differently.
Mexi Melt.
What? I'm going soft taco. I'm also going chicken McNugget and Five Guys burger.
Wow, this is an SAT question for me.
It's hard.
I'm going to go with legacy.
Okay. You always take a legacy. If there's a statue involved, you're in.
Of course. You know those archers from anywhere.
Mm-hmm. McDonald's fries.
Number one.
You know what? Like, the Ringer puts the Chick-fil-A waffle fries, which I think I've had once in my life, at the top just to spark the controversy.
Well done. McDonald's fries with extra salt have to be number one.
You order your fries well done. You even, wait a second. What? You even make alterations to fast food menu items?
Here's why.
You will alter anything that you eat.
No, I'm going to teach you what you taught me about the pizzas.
Okay.
Somebody that eat a lot of fast food.
You learn a lot
growing up.
Jalen Jacoby.
You ask for it prepared a little bit different so they don't give you one that's been sitting there for 30 minutes or the last 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I always modify the order. Extra sauce on that Big Mac. Just so you know you get a new one.
Yeah, they would never just take an old Big Mac and they put extra sauce on it. They would never do that.
They wouldn't do that.
They would never do that.
No.
Thank you so much for the calls. Remember, if you dial 985-80-JALEN, leave us a voicemail. We'll listen to it.
And not like
and
Popeye's
respond to
chicken.
it.
2-piece and a biscuit.
I think you need one. We got one more spot. You got McDonald's fries, Popeye's chicken.
Sausage McMuffin.
There you go. That's a good list right there, Jalen Rose, off the top of your head. Already better than the Ringer. Shout to the Podfather. Right now, we're going to open up our 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed and take questions from you because we give the people what they want here. When we were mentioning legends of the NBA that we might not see wear the uniform next year, we forgot someone very important. Gentlemen.
You want me to guess?
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to guess the player that you're talking about.
It's not going
to take forever.
Yes, it is. It's going to take forever.
It won't.
No,
we said Paul. We said Jason Terry. We said Dirk. We said Vince.
Changed his name.
Meta World Peace.
Is this the last we will see of Meta World Peace?
Yes. He's had some lost tape years.
He sure has. I'm surprised he's still on the team.
And here's the thing I got to teach fans and or media, and in this case, a team like the Lakers. When you draft a bunch of guys in the first round, guess what? You know how Lonzo Ball wants to play in Los Angeles? So does Jordan Clarkson.
Mm-hmm.
So does D'Angelo Russell.
Yes.
So does Julius Randle. So does Meta World Peace. So against the orders indirectly of the organization, they're like, we trying to win. We trying to be here. They bring these guys in. That means I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
I like my crib. And so that's just a lesson to a Lakers team that had an opportunity to have the top 3 odds to retain a lottery pick. Now they're in the 50 percentile to pick between 4 and 6.
Well, James said Swaggy P and Meta World Peace won't be on the Lakers next year. Aren't they removing the wrong vets?
James said this?
Yes, James Benitez.
Oh.
He tweeted us that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, who's James?
Right, exactly.
LeBron James?
Right. Meta World Peace has had his turn. He's put in mad years in the league. He's going to get a nice pension. He's going to possibly also join Luke Walton's coaching staff. The other player you mentioned was who?
Swaggy P.
Swaggy P will still be in the NBA somewhere else next year.
Oh, he will. James also had this tweet.
Who's that? Are you talking about
James
Nick
Benitez.
Young?
Yeah.
Oh.
Blazers in 6. He can't believe that himself, can he? This is about Damian Lillard. All of a sudden, someone asked him, do you think that this series will go 6 or 7 games? And he was kind of joking around. He's like, yes, 6. Right? Like, it wasn't like he put out an ad in the paper and said, we're going to beat the Warriors in 6. He was just answering a question. What's he going to say? We're going to lose?
I've sat in the locker room multiple times like, screw Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
he ain't got nothing on me.
Yeah, of course you have.
He has nothing on
me. What
me.
is Dame Lillard supposed to do? Of course he's saying we're going to beat the Warriors.
Right. Like, I'm taking Scottie Pippen Hall of Fame spot. I've actually said that before. Wasn't true.
Not true.
But I'm going to get a statue guarding Kobe. I'm getting a statue.
You are getting a statue outside of an NBA arena. But back to Dame Lillard. Something or nothing. He says that the Blazers are going to win in 6. It's absolutely nothing, right? So, next we have this. This is from Goran.
Dragic?
No, different.
You already hitting us up?
Different.
Got bounced?
This dude hit me up like 4 times. And then our producer selected this tweet to be read on the show. What? Yesterday, Jacoby pronounced my last name incorrectly. Boss move or soft move, Jalen? His name is Goran Zubak, not Zubak. Boss move or soft move? I said his name wrong.
I think it's a boss move that we've mentioned him twice on the show in consecutive days.
I think so, too. It's a boss move for him getting himself on the show. Not a boss move by the producers making me say that. What? Next we have, this is good, from Garden State Shade. Do you know which state's the Garden State?
New Jersey.
Well done.
Where they probably have the worst rated governor in the United States of America. Of course I know where that is.
Okay. How surreal was it to step on the same court as Jordan for the first time? Business as usual or no? It's a good question.
You don't get a chance to be a fan. So a lot of times people are able to recall like, oh, the first time I played against Jordan, like I felt like so nervous, or I didn't know what I was going to say, or if he looked at me, I didn't know what I was going to do. I grew up like loving the sport for so long and being immersed in it. I wasn't a player that like picked up the game late. So playing my entire life from milk crates on a pole, nailed to a pole, to AAU, middle school, high school, AAU, college, pro, backyard park, YMCA, anywhere I could play at any time, different cities, different states, different countries. So once you just get out there on the floor, it's like we're looking at the scouting report and you're looking at his name up there, but you're like, he ain't got nothing on me. That's exactly what you're saying.
How good does it feel to get a bucket on Michael Jordan?
Feels great.
It's got to feel so good.
How
just
good?
Hit him with a jab step and a jumper. Like, yeah, I just put a bucket on Jordan.
So just look at it like this. When a person makes a basket, that's the equivalent of somebody hitting a home run or getting a hit in baseball. That's your moment when everybody's looking at you. Mm-hmm. That's why they call it a home run trot. When somebody scores the ball, what's the first thing the camera does? What's the first thing that the fans do? What gets the headlines? Who scored the most points? Mm-hmm. So even players who aren't offensively driven want the opportunity to not only touch the ball, but score the ball. How much did Dennis Rodman enjoy making a three when he played?
Very much so. Next, John Dre 3000. Soft move or boss move? Bringing your glove to a baseball game.
Boss move.
Soft move. What? That's a soft move.
You're a Grinch. What if I'm 12 years old?
Yeah, don't bring a glove. You're not in the game. You're not in the game. You're going to be sitting there for 3 hours, your hands sweating.
So in other words, now when you go to a football game, you shouldn't wear a jersey.
No, you shouldn't wear a jersey to a football game.
There
either.
you go.
You shouldn't do that either. That's definitely a soft move.
There you go.
Soft move or boss move? Lance Stevenson blowing in LeBron's ear. That's from Jeff.
Soft move.
Oh, huh. It's done a lot for Lance. Like that one moment is sort of what, it's kind of like made Lance.
Yeah, you're right. It's done so much for Lance. 4 teams later, he's back in Indiana.
He was injured. Next, we have another soft move or boss move. This is from Shlama. Soft move or boss move? Blasting the headphones loud enough that other people can hear them.
Boss move. No. That's the only reason why you get loud music in your car. For everybody else, not for you.
It sounds awful when you're in a car and someone's playing music very, very loud. It's uncomfortable. I do not like it. I sound old. Turn down your systems, guys. Turn down your systems.
Correct. I remember being the guy putting mad speakers, putting all types of kickers and everything in the car for the music. Now it's just too loud.
Did you ever play the same song twice because you wanted people to see you listening to that song?
Of course.
I've done that too. I've definitely done that too.
No doubt about it.
I feel like I'm now not playing the music for myself in my own car. I'm playing the music for everybody else in my own car.
It's almost like what you do on social media. When you turn up the music loud, that's not for you. That's for everybody else. Mm-hmm. What you post ain't just necessarily for you. It's for everybody else.
This one's from Smokey Rondo, one of my favorites. I thought Smokey Rondo was a female fan, but he's not. He's a dude. His name's Smokey. Shout to him.
You want to give him my job. He
Smoke?
Too much. Yeah.
He's got a good name. Smokey and Jacoby sounds good, doesn't it?
No, I actually got my replacement.
Who?
CJ McCollum.
Oh, yeah, he's coming. He's coming for your spot.
So you can literally call it CJ and Jacoby.
Oh, CJ and DJ?
No, actually,
CJ and DJ?
This is what he don't realize.
What?
That you really want the show to be named Jacoby, period.
It should just be Jacoby. The Jacoby Show.
And so
Jacoby and Friends is fine.
So when he replaces me, it's going to be Jacoby and CJ.
I want this one. You know how they do like the with Stugotz? This should be David Jacoby with Jalen Rose. That's what this should be. I'm going to start writing some emails about that. Here's what Smokey wants to know, Jalen. When is a good time to introduce my girl to my parents? Asking for a friend.
After you tell her you love her, and vice versa.
Huh.
If you truly know the meaning of the word.
That's good advice, Mr. Rose. Yep. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for listening on ESPN
Thank
Radio,
you.
for watching on ESPN2 and ESPN News.
Thank
and
you.
subscribing to the Jalen and Jacoby
Thank
podcast.
You. You're far too kind.